She's yelling again, throwing anything she can get her hands on. How can I stop a freight train? This is insanity. It would be so easy to hate her. But I can't. She's my mom. "17 days after my parents were married, my mom was diagnosed with epilepsy. And while they were busy growing our family, the epilepsy was busy invading her brain. By the time I was 3, my mom's best chance was brain surgery. But things don't always go as planned. Yes, they took out part of her brain. No, it didn't take her seizures away. Instead, it left her with aggressive rages she couldn't control. Her episodes were traumatic. Violent convulsions, her eyes would roll back, she would foam and bleed at the mouth. Basically, The Exorcist. The first time I ever saw my mom seize, I was literally frozen in fear. I can't even tell you how many times we had ambulances at my house. But there was no fixing my mom's brain. Her rages would come out of nowhere, like a tornado, dropping out of a perfectly clear sky, destroying everything, and then leaving. I watched my mom abuse my family day after day. I know it wasn't her, but that didn't make it any easier to handle. To protect us, my dad moved her in across the street with my grandparents. She was still close, but not too close. As if epilepsy and anger weren't enough, my mom lost her short-term memory in 2004. Not only would she convulse like the Exorcist while abusing our family, she now couldn't remember where she had been or what she had done just seconds after. Not that she apologized much, but now, all hopes of apologies were gone forever. My dad was a rock. He sheltered my brother, sister, and I through all of her storms, and he was always there to help pick up the pieces. At the age of 8, I found my home away from home. I could finally relax here. Even the mundane things kept me free from the turbulence at home. I spent every waking moment at the barn. Riding took my pain away and gave me a freedom I hadn't had before. When I was here, I was home. As a high school senior, I was given the opportunity to leave my home in Georgia and pursue my dream of riding professionally at a top barn in Florida. But I quickly found that verbal and emotional abuse were not exclusive to my home. The way they spoke to me in Florida reminded me so much of the abuse that I endured from my mom at home. But this time, I had a choice. I quit my job, sold my horse, and left my dream forever. If I couldn't have horses without abuse, I didn't want horses at all. The next year was the hardest of my life. When I returned home from Florida, the peace I had found with riding was gone. I was a mess. I gave my virtue away when I was 17, got my first tattoo on my 18th birthday, and was kicked out of my house the next day. I was running from God and didn't care who I hurt. I tried college, but it didn't really work out. Apparently, you have to pass all your classes for it to be successful. But my grandma wouldn't let me quit. She encouraged me to visit Liberty University. I refused to visit Liberty for months, but finally, my grandma sold me on the theater and broadcasting departments. I started working for the Liberty Flame Sports Network within the first few weeks of being in school. Just like my barn family, the people at LFSN quickly became my family away from home. I grafted into the media culture and started running camera, producing, and working on my own feature stories. I started to prioritize my life again and regained my work ethic. Just as I was getting my life together, my mom passed away. The previous 2 years, she'd been battling MS, and it slowly took her life. I was home alone when I got the call. My dad was crying so uncontrollably that I thought he was laughing. He took a couple shaky breaths and told me that she had passed. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I left for home immediately. People are always surprised when I tell them that losing my mom wasn't the hardest thing to ever happen to me. It hurt, and it still does sometimes. But I lost my mom a long time before she passed away. I never truly had her. Her suffering is completely gone. She isn't in pain anymore, and she isn't inflicting pain anymore. It took a year after my mom's passing for me to start considering horses again. This past January, I joined the Liberty Equestrian team, and while I have no dreams of riding professionally or making it to the Olympics, I finally have back that freedom I once found in riding. I now ride without pressure, surrounded by the best teammates and coaches I could have ever asked for. My mom isn't dead. She's more alive than she's ever been before, and I cannot wait to see her again.